that we talk about is energy. तो ये energy होता क्या है? जैसे हमने पिछले वाली वीडियो में देखा, energy is basically equal to the work done. अभी different forms देखेंगे. तो सबसे important form energy का है, that is mechanical energy, जो हमने real life में use होती है. So if I'm lifting this pen up like this, the energy that I'm doing is called as mechanical energy. The energy that I'm using is called as mechanical energy. और ये कौन provide कर रहा है? ये provide कर रहे हैं मेरे muscle. Hey learners, this is Dr. Rishi from the Learners Academy, and today we are going to talk about different forms of energy. This is continuation to the chapter that we did in our previous video, that was work, power and energy. Okay, so this is the second part of it. So let us go ahead and see different forms of energies. But before we go there, let us have our basics written. So in the previous chapter, we talked about work. So we talked about work. Work is force multiplied by the displacement. Then we talked about power, which was work divided by time. And then we had energy, which was again equal to force multiplied by displacement, or power multiplied by time. So work and energy were exactly the same thing. So today we are going to talk about the different forms of energy that we have in our real life. This is very crucial to understand because this tells us how energy is transferred from one form to another and how we stick to the principle of conservation of energy. So now let's go ahead with this. So first thing that we talk about is energy. तो ये energy होता क्या है? जैसे हमने पिछले वाली वीडियो में देखा, energy is basically equal to the work done. अभी different forms देखेंगे. तो सबसे important form energy का है, that is mechanical energy, जो अपने real life में use होती है. So if I'm lifting this pen up like this, the energy that I'm doing is called as mechanical energy. The energy that I'm using is called as mechanical energy. और ये कौन provide कर रहा है? ये provide कर रहे हैं मेरे muscles. Muscles को energy कौन provide कर रहा है? ATPs. ATPs कहाँ से आ रहे हैं? जो food में लेगा. So ये पूरा circle है कि आप energy एक point से दूसरे point तक change होते जाएगी और वो starting point से end point तक जाएगी, and then it would get dissipated in the environment, जो so it would get into a form which is unusable. ये भी understand करना बहुत important है. So the first thing that we are going to talk about is mechanical energy. So mechanical energy basically दो parts में divide होती है, kinetic energy and potential energy. अभी potential energy is the energy of system depending on its state. Potential energy of a system is energy which is by the virtue of the change in position. तो जब body का position change होगा in any way, then only the potential energy would be there, would be stored. So ये वाली energy जो है ये store हो जाती है body में. आपने कई लोगों को सुना होगा बोलते हुए कि आप में potential बहुत है और आप काम नहीं कर रहे हो. Meaning capability है, मतलब stored energy है आप में, but you are not able to perform. You are not able to get that stored energy out. तो ये तो थोड़ा psychological हो गया. But when it comes to physics, तो दो type की potential energies है जो सबसे ज़्यादा important है. One of the most important is gravity. Gravitational potential energy. The gravitational potential energy क्या होता है? ये वो वाला energy है which is holding us to the earth. तो जब भी आप height पे rise करते हो, so say I have a body here at point A on the surface of the ground and it is lifted to the point B which is at a height h. तो ये body में जो energy store होगी उसको बोलेंगे potential energy. To be very specific, gravitational potential energy. तो ये gravitational potential energy कैसे count होगी? तो again, what do we know about energy? Energy is force multiplied by displacement, or it can be written as power multiplied by time. So ये केस में क्या होगा? Force क्या है? तो यहाँ से जब point B पर, if I release the body at point B, then what would be the force? Or let us put it the other way around. If the mass of the body is m और इसको अपन यहाँ से यहाँ उठा रहे हैं, तो force होगा F is equal to ma. यहाँ पर a है acceleration due to gravity. Acceleration due to gravity है downwards. तो मेरा force जो apply करने को पड़ेगा मुझे upwards, that is going to be minus g. So force is going to be equal to minus mg, and फोर्स मल्टीप्लाइड बाय डिस्प्लेसमेंट, इसमें डिस्प्लेसमेंट कितना है तो h डिस्प्लेस हो गया, a से b तक गया तो इसका हाइट बढ़ गया h से, so that would be minus mgh. अब ये माइनस साइन है, what does that mean? Okay, so when we talk about energy in general we write it as potential energy, in general we write it as mgh, पर यहाँ पर जब भी माइनस साइन है तो वो क्या मायने रखता है कि that energy is getting stored in the body, तो बॉडी के अंदर स्टोर हो रही है and the body is doing this work against the external force, इस वजह से वो नेगेटिव साइन आ रहा है. So in scalar form we can write it as energy is equal to mgh. So this would be the magnitude of potential energy. अभी दूसरा वाला एनर्जी जो है वो यूज होता है, उसको बोलते हैं इलास्टिक पोटेंशियल एनर्जी. So elastic potential energy is generally in elastic material. So what kind of material are we talking about here? So what kind of material are we talking about here? It can be anything. It can be a spring, it can be a steel rod, it can be a rubber, it can be a elastic strip. So when we stretch it, there is an energy that is stored in the body. So for instance, अगर मेरे पास एक spring है, so this is the normally looking spring, ऐसी वाली spring है. If I stretch it, it would try to come back to its original shape. If I compress it, it would still try to come to its original shape. So this was about spring. We can also have somewhat similar with a rubber band or elastic band. If this is the elastic band, it is its original shape. Then if I stretch it like this, it would try to come back to its original shape. So though I am applying force on it, if the force is applied after a certain interval, then it might break, like it just did here. But here what is happening is if I stretch it like this, then it would try to come back to its original position. So when I am applying force on it, it is getting stretched, so it is having potential energy in it, and when I release it, it comes back to its original shape. Similar potential energy can be seen in bow and arrow. When we shoot an arrow using a bow, there is a potential energy that is developed in the arrow by pushing it backwards, by stretching the string on the bow. So in elastic potential energy, what are we going to talk about is the shape of the body is changing, and because of the change in the shape, उसमें potential energy store हो रही है. And when the external force is taken out, ये potential energy बाहर निकलती है, gets converted into kinetic energy. So I said this word kinetic energy. This is the second form of mechanical energy that we have. तो एक वो energy हो गई जो stored है body में, we call it potential energy. It depends on change in the position. Okay, now फिर आता है kinetic energy. Kinetic energy is the energy which is due to the motion of the body. तो इसमें क्या हो रहा है? Body move हो रही है. By definition, potential energy is the energy possessed by the body by the virtue of its motion. Okay, तो इधर motion बहुत important. Potential energy is stored inside the body and the body is not in motion. Like for instance, I lifted the ball up, or I lifted the body up, or I squeezed the spring, or I stretched the spring, or I stretched the elastic band. Okay, in all these cases, body was not moving. पर kinetic energy के लिए body move होना बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है. It needs to go from one point to another. It needs to have velocity. इसका सबसे simple example है, say I take a stone and I hit a glass wall. तो उसमें काफी सारी energy है, वो store होगी, हो जाएगा, वो glass को break करेगा, because all that energy would be transferred to the glass. Okay, so let's go ahead and check out the expression of kinetic energy. So how are we going to calculate the kinetic energy of a body? Okay, imagine a body with mass m. तो मेरी एक body है जिसका mass m है. It is going in this direction and then with a velocity v. और यहाँ पर अपन we are applying some force on it and it is stopping and it is stopping. So the mass is m. उसका velocity 0 हो गया है. So ये point A से point B को गई है body और यहाँ से यहाँ तक जाते हुए उसका velocity 0 हो गया. Then what is going to happen in this particular condition? Okay, so there is some energy given to the body in the opposite direction so that it has stopped. Or how much is this energy going to be? It is going to be equal to the work done by the stopping force to stop it. Okay, so what is the work done? It is force multiplied by displacement. तो यहाँ पर force कौन सा है? It is the retarding force or the stopping force. The force which is actually going to stop the body. Okay, तो ये stopping force कितना आएगा मेरे पास? तो ये stopping force आएगा F is equal to ma. M is the mass of the body and A is the acceleration. In this case, it is going to be the retardation of the body or the retardation that has stopped the force. So the force is in opposite direction. Okay, and what is the displacement that is here? So let us call that displacement as S. So the displacement between point A and B is the distance between point A and B, or the displacement between point A and B is, we call it S. So I can write the work done by my force would be F multiplied by S. So that would be equal to ma multiplied by S. Abhi let's see what happens after this. Okay, so initially my body was at velocity v and my final velocity was 0. ये S फाइंड करना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है अपने लिए. So S कैसे फाइंड करेंगे? We know by kinematic equation v square is equal to u square plus 2as. Okay, तो मेरा इनिशियल वेलोसिटी है v, मेरा फाइनल वेलोसिटी है v, मेरा इनिशियल वेलोसिटी है 0. Okay, now in this case मेरा फाइनल वेलोसिटी है 0, मेरा इनिशियल वेलोसिटी है v, और since I am not getting acceleration, I am getting a retardation in this case. वो कितना होगा मेरा? It is going to be equal to minus a. So I can write 0 is equal to v square minus 2as. ये मेरा फाइनल वेलोसिटी है, ये मेरा इनिशियल वेलोसिटी है. ये मेरा माइनस इसलिए आया because इधर रिटार्डेशन. So from this we can write that therefore 2as is equal to v square, or we can say s is equal to v square upon 2a. Now I can replace this s from here and I can get work done is equal to ma multiplied by v square upon 2a. A cancel हो गया and we are left with half mv square. Now this work done is going to be equal to the energy according to the work energy theorem. So kinetic energy is going to be equal to half mv square. Okay. So kinetic energy is going to be equal to half multiplied by mass of the body multiplied by the square of the velocity. Now let us go ahead and check out कि ये जो momentum नाम की चीज है उसका और ये kinetic energy का क्या रिलेशनशिप है. because this momentum is going to be dropped every once in a while. ये relation बहुत important है. This relation is also important. The derivation of the relation is also important. It might come in your exam. So please make sure that you know this. अभी अपन ने दो फॉर्मूला सीखे, वो भी इधर लिख लेते हैं. तो अपना पोटेंशियल एनर्जी क्या है? पोटेंशियल एनर्जी इज mgh, ये ग्रेविटेशनल पोटेंशियल एनर्जी है. काइनेटिक एनर्जी क्या है? हाफ mv स्क्वायर. तो ये बेसिक चीजें हो गई. नाउ लेट अस गो अहेड एंड सी कि मेरे काइनेटिक एनर्जी और मेरे मोमेंटम में क्या फर्क है एंड हाउ आर दे रिलेटेड. सो मेरा जो मोमेंटम है दैट इज गिवन बाय p इज इक्वल टू mv, और मेरा जो काइनेटिक एनर्जी है दैट इज गिवन बाय हाफ mv स्क्वायर. So we can right away square this, and we can write, so I can write therefore p square is equal to m square v square, okay, or I can say that, so अगर ये m को इधर लेके आ जाऊंगा तो I can get it as half, इधर mv रह जाएगा and this would be p square upon. ये एक रिलेशनशिप होगा दोनों में, या फिर सो वी कैन से दैट इट इज इक्वल टू p स्क्वायर अपॉन 2m. द अदर रिलेशन वुड बी, अगर मैं आई कैन आल्सो राइट p स्क्वायर इज इक्वल टू काइनेटिक एनर्जी टाइम्स 2m, और p इज इक्वल टू रूट ऑफ 2m टाइम्स द काइनेटिक energy. So this is how we can convert the momentum into potential energy into momentum, and this is how we can convert kinetic energy into momentum. So this basically relates the momentum and the kinetic energy. Now the next thing that we are going to talk about is the beautiful work energy theorem. Now why am I calling it the beautiful work energy theorem? Because it's actually just amazing. It gives you the relationship between work and energy and how they are equal. ये theorem 8th में सिखाया गया था, 9th में सिखाया गया था, 10th में फिर से सिखाया. So it's the same thing that they are repeating again. So it means that you need to know it thoroughly. So what does this theorem tell us? This theorem tells us that the work done by a body is equal to the change in the kinetic energy of the body. We also know that from kinematic equations v square is equal to u square plus 2as. So therefore I can write v square minus u square is equal to 2as, or v square minus u square upon 2a is equal to s. I can replace this s here. I also know that my force is equal to ma, so I can put in these values here. So I have value of s and I have value of force. So I can write work done is equal to ma multiplied by v square minus u square upon 2a. So that gives me, now a cancelled, and I end up with half mv square minus half mu square. So this is my final kinetic energy, and this is my initial kinetic energy. So we can write it as, so therefore work done is equal to kf, that is the final kinetic energy, minus ki, that is the initial kinetic energy. That is, the change in the kinetic energies would be equal to the work done by the body. So that was about deriving the work energy theorem. From exam perspective, this is also a very important topic. So please make a note of it, keep it in mind. practiced. This can come in both the places. They can either ask you to prove it or they can ask numericals on it. Now, kinetic energy is further divided into three types. We have translational kinetic energy, we have rotational kinetic energy, and we have vibrational kinetic energy. Translational kinetic energy, when you sit in a car and the car moves ahead, it is the translational kinetic energy. The wheels of the car are turning in circles, so that is, they are rotating around themselves, they are rotating around the axis. So that is rotational kinetic energy. And say if you consider a guitar is basically having a wire tightly held at two ends, and when we struck our finger in the middle, the wire starts vibrating. So this is the vibrational kinetic energy. Now let us check out the distinctions between potential energy and kinetic energy. Potential energy is it is energy possessed by the body due to its change in position or configuration. Kinetic energy, it is energy possessed by a body due to its state of motion. Potential energy is equal to the work done in bringing a body to its changed state. Kinetic energy is equal to the work that a moving body can do before coming to rest. Potential energy, it can change only in form of kinetic energy. Kinetic energy can change into any other form of energies. Potential energy, it does not depend on the speed of the body. Kinetic energy depends on the speed of the body. Okay, now how are we going to convert potential energy into kinetic energy? When we talked about the differences, one difference, the second difference to be precise, is something very important. Potential energy can change only into kinetic energy, and then we can change the kinetic energy into other forms of energies. So how does potential energy change into kinetic energy? Okay, so if I take a body from point A and I left it like this and I've kept it at point B. So we are going from point A to point B. Now at this point, the potential energy is equal to mgh. Now since the body is not moving, the kinetic energy would be 0. Now when I drop the body from this height, acceleration on the body would act downwards, and we get the force is equal to mg acting downwards, and when the body would come and hit here at this point A, its kinetic energy would become half mv square and its potential energy would become 0. So effectively, if I lift a body, there is potential energy stored in the body. When I drop it, it falls down. So the motion of the body, there is a motion in the body and it gives it a kinetic energy. So that is basically how the potential energy would get converted into kinetic energy. Now this is applied all over the world. In the dams, the water has potential energy. So when we open the dam doors, the water starts flowing. This potential energy gets converted into kinetic energy, and this kinetic energy is the energy that is driving the turbines, which are generating the electricity. Same is true with springs, same is true with windmills. So when there is a difference between the wind starts flowing when there is pressure difference at two different points, and this also is because of the potential energy, that difference that is there between those 2 points. Now it can also be used in spring wound machines. So we have to wind the springs, and the spring would actually get converted into kinetic energy and it would drive the motion. It was seen in clocks and watches, but it's a very old technology. Currently, these digital watches don't have the same system. However, if you see those grandfather clocks, some of them still have that spring which is there. So, the potential energy can be converted into kinetic energy, and now kinetic energy we can convert it into potential energy, but potential energy can be converted only into kinetic energy. Now let us go ahead and talk about different forms of energies that we have. Okay, yeah. So we have solar energy. This is the energy that we are getting from the sun. It is in the form of light. It is in the form of heat. Heat is nothing but infrared radiations. The next thing. Now, how can we use solar energy, or where can we use solar energy? First thing is solar panels. First thing where we use solar energy is solar panels. Solar panels are generally black colored and they absorb the infrared radiation that we get from sun. So वो जो heat आ रही है sun से वो directly use होती है to heat particularly things like water. Then we have solar furnaces. Solar furnaces are also somewhat similar. Solar panels black color के sheets रहते हैं. Solar furnaces are parabolic in shape. और उसमें वो nicely focus हो जाते हैं infrared rays at a point and they heat that point. And we can put material there which can get cooked. The third is a solar cell. Solar cells are like the most important things because they directly convert solar energy into electrical energy. They use the light, the photon particles or the light that is coming from the sun. So solar के दो चीज है, infrared solar furnaces और solar panels जो उसका infrared spectrum use करते हैं. और ये जो solar cells है, they use for light spectra or the visible light spectra, which directly gets converted into electricity. The second form of energy is heat energy. Heat energy is absolutely important for us because we are warm-blooded animals. So, अगर अपने को ढंग की गर्मी ना मिली, तो we might die of hypothermia. तो अगर so again, wherever we go, say in cold countries, heat energy is very, very, very important to sustain the life there. Then we have light energy. Light energy, obviously we get it from sun, and we have artificial sources of light. Say यहाँ पर lights लगी हुई है, which makes you see things. Then we have chemical energy. Chemical energy is generally the fuel का energy that we get. तो पेट्रोल, डीजल ये जल रहा है और इसकी वजह से गाड़ियाँ चल रही है, इसकी वजह से इलेक्ट्रिसिटी मिल रही है. So this is chemical energy or fuel energy. Then we have hydro energy. Hydro energy is basically dams बना रखे हैं अपन ने, उसमें पानी स्टोर होता है, जिसमें पोटेंशियल एनर्जी स्टोर होती है, पानी फ्लो होता है, it turns the turbines and we get electricity. तो ये सारी चीजों में जनरली जो एंड प्रोडक्ट है वो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी है because it is one of the most commonly used form of energy. फिर आता है electrical energy. Electrical energy we can get it from various things. There are two type of electrical energies that we can have. Like we can have the direct current and we can have the alternating current. So electrical energy is basically उसका जो source होता है एक electrical सेल रहेगा जिससे इलेक्ट्रिसिटी मिलेगी, या फिर अपना एसी मेन्स रहेगा जिससे अपने को इलेक्ट्रिसिटी मिलेगी. तो बहुत सारी बाकी की चीजें हैं, जैसे अपन ने हीट एनर्जी देखा, लाइट एनर्जी देखा, केमिकल एनर्जी देखा, हाइड्रो एनर्जी देखा. मोस्ट ऑफ दीज आर गोइंग टू कन्वर्ट इनटू इलेक्ट्रिकल एनर्जी. फिर आता है न्यूक्लियर एनर्जी. न्यूक्लियर एनर्जी इज वन ऑफ द मोस्ट क्रूशियल फॉर्म्स ऑफ एनर्जी बिकॉज ये बहुत ज्यादा यूज होने वाला है. It is getting used currently. Future में भी ये बहुत ज़्यादा यूज होने वाला है because अपने fossil fuels के deposits जो है वो कम होते जा रहे हैं. न्यूक्लियर एनर्जी के ऊपर मेरा एक सेपरेट वीडियो है जिसका लिंक मैंने डिस्क्रिप्शन में दे दिया है. उसका लिंक इधर ऊपर भी आएगा, सो प्लीज क्लिक ऑन इट इफ यू वांट टू सी द एंटायर वीडियो। फिर आता है जियोथर्मल एनर्जी। जियोथर्मल एनर्जी बड़ा सिंपल मीनिंग है जियोथर्मल। थर्म मतलब हीट, जियो मतलब धरती। There are places on earth where we get hot water springs and the water is very hot in the sense boiling hot. So that hot water or the steam that we get from that hot water, those hot spots, geological hot spots they are called. We use them to drive turbines and उससे हम लोगों को मिलती है electricity. So we call it geothermal energy. अभी ये एनर्जी आती कहाँ से है? ये जो जियोथर्मल एनर्जी है, तो अर्थ का जो कोर है वहां पर काफी सारे न्यूक्लियर रिएक्शंस हो रही है एंड दैट देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ एनर्जी, हीट एनर्जी व्हिच इज स्टोर्ड देयर। तो ये हीट एनर्जी सर्टेन पार्ट्स पे आ जाती है अर्थ के सरफेस पे एंड देन वी यूज इट। फिर आती है विंड एनर्जी। मोस्ट ऑफ यू मस्ट हैव सीन अ विंडमिल। सो हवा बहती है, विंडमिल टर्न होता है, उसको एक अटैच्ड टरबाइन है, वो टरबाइन टर्न होता है एंड वी गेट इलेक्ट्रिसिटी। साउंड एनर्जी इज द एनर्जी दैट इज possessed by a vibrating body. So whenever a body vibrates, it produces sound energy. शंखनाद होगा, बेल्स होंगे, अगर आप मंदिर जाते हो तो बेल्स होंगे, बजाकर अंदर जाते हो, तो ये सोनरस मेटल्स हैं, तो दे प्रोड्यूस दैट साउंड एनर्जी। अदर इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स भी हैं जो काफी सारी साउंड एनर्जी प्रोड्यूस करते हैं। फिर आता है मैग्नेटिक एनर्जी। इट इज द एनर्जी दैट इज possessed by magnets by the virtue of it which it can attract other magnetic materials, like दूसरे मैग्नेट को अट्रैक्ट कर लेगा या फिर आयरन को अट्रैक्ट कर लेगा। फिर आता है मैकेनिकल एनर्जी। मैकेनिकल एनर्जी इज एनर्जी possessed by a body due to the state of rest or state of motion. So mechanical energy is the energy that is possessed by the body due to the state of rest or the state of motion. Now let us talk about conservation of energy from one form to another. So the first is mechanical energy to electrical energy. Mechanical energy to electrical energy. So अपने windmills, अपने thermal power plants, अपने dams, hydro power plants, ये सारी चीजें क्या कर रहे हैं? They are rotating turbines. That is, उसमें एक mechanical energy है जो दी जा रही है turbines को, and those turbines are generating electrical energy. Okay, so या तो windmill में वो पंखा घूम रहा है, या फिर हाइड्रो पावर प्लांट्स में पानी है वो टरबाइन को घुमा रहा है, या फिर थर्मल पावर प्लांट्स में स्टीम है जो टरबाइन को घुमा रहा है। But at the end of the day, it is mechanical energy which is getting converted into electrical energy. Then we have electrical energy into mechanical energy. इसका सबसे easy example है पंखे, fans. So fans start moving when electrical energy is applied. So be it a fan, be it an exhaust fan, be it blowers, all these guys where electrical energy is an input and the output is mechanical energy. चीजें घूम रही है उसमें. Okay, it can also have we can also have things where body is vibrating. Say for instance a sewing machine, जिसमें उसका जो स्पिंडल है वो वाइब्रेट हो रहा है because of a motor which is driving it. तो जब भी इलेक्ट्रिकल एनर्जी मैकेनिकल एनर्जी में कन्वर्ट होगी तो एक चीज लगेगी जिसको बोलेंगे मोटर। एसी मोटर रहेगी या डीसी मोटर रहेगी, पर मोटर यूज होगी। और जब भी इलेक्ट्रिकल एनर्जी कन्वर्ट होगी मैकेनिकल एनर्जी में तो एक चीज लगेगी जिसको बोलेंगे डायनामो, ओके, जो कन्वर्ट करेगा मैकेनिकल एनर्जी को इलेक्ट्रिकल एनर्जी में। So we are going to see it separately when we do the topic electricity, कि ये डायनामो और मोटर या फिर ये जनरेटर और मोटर कैसे सिमिलर है, कैसे अलग भी है। Then we have electrical energy into heat energy. A very simple example that we have in our real life is geysers, irons, hair straighteners, dryers, hot air dryers. So all these things use electricity to convert electrical energy into heat energy. अभी हीटर्स भी आते हैं, रूम हीटर्स भी आते हैं। इंडिया में रूम हीटर्स ज्यादा यूज नहीं होते, मे बी इन सर्टेन पार्ट्स ऑफ द नॉर्दर्न इंडिया, जैसे कश्मीर में हो सकता है, बट इफ यू गो टू say places like UK or Canada for that matter, तो वहाँ पर हीटर्स यूज होते हैं because the environment there is very cold. Okay, तो वहाँ पर रूम हीटर्स यूज होते हैं, जहाँ पर एक रूम में हीटर लगाया जाता है जो गर्म होता है इलेक्ट्रिसिटी से. Some places it is also a gas driven heater, but many places now are using electrical heaters. फिर आता है हीट एनर्जी टू इलेक्ट्रिकल एनर्जी. अभी हीट एनर्जी इलेक्ट्रिकल एनर्जी में कैसे कन्वर्ट करेंगे अपन, तो ये होता है थर्मल पावर प्लांट्स में. हीट एनर्जी डायरेक्टली इलेक्ट्रिकल एनर्जी में कन्वर्ट नहीं हो सकती है. हीट एनर्जी इज फर्स्ट यूज्ड टू evaporate water which gets converted into water vapor, और फिर ये water vapor is the material that drives the turbines. तो इससे टर्बाइंस घूमते हैं और उससे इलेक्ट्रिसिटी प्रोड्यूस होती है. फिर आता है इलेक्ट्रिकल एनर्जी टू साउंड एनर्जी. स्पीकर्स, माइक्रोफोन्स, बेल्स. आई होप all of you know what an inverter is. इन्वर्टर में एक बैटरी रहती है, तो ड्यूरिंग चार्जिंग इलेक्ट्रिकल एनर्जी जो है वो बैटरी को चार्ज करेगी, एंड ड्यूरिंग डिस्चार्जिंग ये जो बैटरी को चार्ज करेगी, मतलब केमिकल रिएक्शन होगा बैटरी में, इलेक्ट्रिसिटी की वजह से केमिकल रिएक्शन होगा. और जब ये उल्टा होगा एग्जैक्टली, जब वो बैटरी डिस्चार्ज होगी तो जो बैटरी में स्टोर्ड केमिकल एनर्जी है, chemical reaction oppositely होगा, in an opposite direction, and what is it going to do? So it is going to change, it is going to produce electrical energy. This is how we convert chemical energy into electrical energy and electrical energy into chemical energy. फिर आता है transition between light energy to chemical energy. थोड़ा सा complicated example है. अगर आप sun का energy लोगे, sun अपने को light देता है, plants वो light use करते हैं and they produce food. ये लाइट एनर्जी हो रहा है कन्वर्टेड इनटू केमिकल एनर्जी. सो लाइट एनर्जी से केमिकल एनर्जी बन रहा है. फिर आता है इलेक्ट्रिकल एनर्जी इनटू लाइट एनर्जी. अपने लाइट्स जो है यहाँ पर ऊपर लगे हुए जो लाइट्स है, ऑल ऑफ देम आर यूजिंग इलेक्ट्रिकल एनर्जी एंड दे आर गिविंग आउट लाइट एनर्जी. फिर आता है लाइट एनर्जी टू इलेक्ट्रिकल एनर्जी. है दिस हैपेंस इन सोलर सेल्स. उसके ऊपर लाइट गिरती है एंड इट कन्वर्ट्स द लाइट एनर्जी इनटू इलेक्ट्रिकल एनर्जी. हीट एनर्जी टू मैकेनिकल एनर्जी. तो जो स्टीम इंजन्स है, जो स्टीम ड्रिवन टर्बाइन्स है, दे यूज हीट एनर्जी टू कन्वर्ट इनटू मैकेनिकल एनर्जी. जो स्टीम की हीट एनर्जी है, दैट इज स्टीम इज हैविंग अ लॉट ऑफ एनर्जी एंड दैट एनर्जी इज यूज्ड टू ड्राइव द टर्बाइन्स. फिर आता है केमिकल एनर्जी टू हीट एनर्जी. तो अपन ने फ्यूल ले लिया, कोई सा भी फ्यूल ले लिया. वी टुक वुड, वी टुक काउ डंग केक्स, वी टुक पेट्रोल, केमिकल पेट्रोल, डीजल और केरोसिन फॉर दैट मैटर. और जब हम उसको आग लगाएंगे तो वो जलने लगेगा एंड इट इज गोइंग टू गिव अस हीट एनर्जी. तो उसमें से हीट बाहर निकलेगी. सो जो इनपुट स्टोर्ड एनर्जी है वो केमिकल एनर्जी है, कार्बन है उसमें, और वो कार्बन का ऑक्सीडेशन हो रहा है, कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड और वाटर बन रहा है, एंड इन द प्रोसेस इट इज गिविंग अ लॉट ऑफ हीट एनर्जी. फिर आती है केमिकल एनर्जी टू मैकेनिकल एनर्जी. केमिकल एनर्जी से मैकेनिकल एनर्जी कैसी बनेगी? प्रिटी सिंपल है. जो अपने ऑटोमोबाइल्स है, जो अपने कार्स, बाइक्स है, all of them are using the fuel which is burning. तो वो केमिकल रिएक्शन हो गया और उसको कन्वर्ट किया जाता है यूजिंग ब्लॉक पिस्टन्स इनटू मैकेनिकल एनर्जी. और वो ब्लॉक पिस्टन्स को एक शाफ्ट अटैच्ड होगा जिससे वो रोटेशनल एनर्जी में कन्वर्ट होगी. इलेक्ट्रिकल एनर्जी कैन आल्सो गेट कन्वर्टेड इनटू मैग्नेटिक एनर्जी. तो मैग्नेटिक एनर्जी में क्या हो रहा है? तो we are producing electromagnets by giving electricity to the soft iron core, और वो अच्छे से एक मैग्नेट बन रहा है. we can use it as magnets to attract other magnets or to attract iron. फिर लास्ट में conversion of mechanical energy into heat energy. इसका सबसे easy example है when I rub my hands on each other. This is mechanical energy and it is producing heat. The hands get warmer. अगर वाटरफॉल पर जाओगे, वाटर ऊपर से नीचे गिर रहा है, जैसे वाटर नीचे गिर रहा है, when it hits the ground, some of its kinetic energy does get converted into heat energy. या फिर मशीन है, अपना इंजन है कार का, गर्म हो जाता है, उसके लिए रेडिएटर की जरूरत पड़ती है. Why? because mechanical parts, if they are vibrating or they are going to produce heat. So that was all about work, power and energy. If you found this video interesting, please give us a thumbs up, please share our channel and subscribe to it. This was Dr. Rishi from the Learners Academy. Thank you.